when you see the movie, you will go under the ocean.
Sam Worthington.
And you will live in the ocean for a lot of the time.
You know, it's quite something.
And she says mighty, because that's exactly how you're going to be feeling as you're watching the movie.
Every time I see it, I cry.
No arrogance at all. It is that special.
And it's truly, we're really looking forward to seeing how much.
And for the rest of my life, every time I see it, I will cry.
It's quite something.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build your online presence. Avatar: The Way of Water is bizarre. Reviewing it is bizarre. A film that has had so much care and technical brilliance poured into the visual side of the filmmaking, yet completely forgot to have any type of meaningful story or character development. It's like sitting down to a beautiful Christmas meal to find out that it's made of styrofoam. The Way of Water also ignores the climax of the first film, where the Na'vi defeated a huge, well-equipped military force in the air and on the ground.
Break formation, engage all hostiles.
Well, this time, they have trouble defeating a handful of soldiers and a fishing charter boat.
I got nothing. I got no plan.
Now, I can enjoy a big dumb action film, but this film sells itself as having something important to say. And it doesn't. It has very little to say.
It hits me in the heart every time.
Its message regarding nature and man's treatment of animals is so base level, it makes Greta Thunberg sound insightful.
How dare you?
It feels like you're watching the world's most expensive soap commercial. Now, I've always been on James Cameron's side as a filmmaker. I just have to ignore when he comes out with ridiculous statements like, testosterone is a toxin. He's given us some of the greatest action films of all time, which are full of wonderful testosterone. His work puts the action we see in modern films to shame, and I'd never bet against him. I remember critics laughing at him when he decided to make a film about the Titanic. Actually, we're all laughing at him. The press were having a field day reporting on all the problems he was having getting that film completed. They seemed to be put out that the action director was getting, for at the time what was an unheard of, $200 million to make a love story. The critics also smirked when, after waiting 12 years to see his next directorial outing, it was a Smurf version of Dances with Wolves. But we all know how those two films did at the box office. So even though I thought the original Avatar was fun but forgettable, I never joined in on the joke of him making more Avatar films, as if no one was going to see them. Because unlike most current Hollywood directors, he knows how to make big budget entertainment. He understands that most people want to go to the cinema to have a good time and not be lectured at. That's what YouTube's for. I'm guessing dealing with all the Hollywood bullshit is why he now spends so much time in the lovely New Zealand, or as we call it, Little Australia. How come Little Australia got all the good qualities of Big Australia, but isn't full of little bastards out to kill you? Now, a hot tip if you haven't seen the film, when you go, you have to wear these. Yes, you must. I can't stress this enough. You must see it in 3D. Because you'll need something to distract you for the 3+ hours that you have to deal with the lack of story and bad dialogue.
I know you're all asking yourselves the same question. Why so blue?
Now, technically, this film is outstanding. Cameron, for not the first time in his career, has taken visual effects to a new level. Unlike the special effects we've had to endure over the last couple of years, they've been special in a different way.
Eat it up.
And the biggest talent when using special effects is knowing when and how to combine CGI with practical effects. This film does that flawlessly. It all looks so real that you could be watching one of those David Attenborough IMAX docos. Except, not as interesting. I swear after about 10 minutes of the water show, I felt like I was trapped in a department store TV section where they have the 4K footage playing on a loop to sell the 80-inch screens. It felt like going on the old 3D Star Tours ride at Disneyland, where you're blown away for 10 minutes, but then someone comes in and tells you you have to stay on the ride for another 3 hours. I thought I was going to cry. To be honest, if I'd had the opportunity to stay on the Star Tours ride for 3 hours when I was a kid, I would have been ecstatic.
They're not going the wrong way. We are, you nitwit.
But as an adult, if I'm going to be stuck in a movie theatre for over 3 hours, I'd like to see a story with a little more depth than the Star Tours ride. So the story. Well, if you've seen the first one, then it's that, but way less interesting.
Let's get this done.
Oh, and yeah, family is important.
I want to keep my family safe.
This family.
Which, to be fair, in today's modern Hollywood, it's a bit of a surprising idea to include that in your film. Shit, with the way dads are usually treated in modern Hollywood, I'm shocked if they're even alive.
Family is our fortress.
The Na'vi is still completely good, if not perfect. while the vast majority of humans are all over-the-top violent caricatures who just love killing shit and wiping out whole species. There is little grey area in this universe. Everyone is either amazingly good or amazingly bad. One of the few good humans is Spider. Yes, 13 years and Spider is the best he could come up with. I fucking hate Spider, and I felt really uncomfortable about his wardrobe choice. It was like watching a combination of Charlton Heston's Planet of the Apes character combined with Mad Max 2's Feral Kid. Except sadly, we only got Charlton Heston's physique and the Feral Kid's acting ability. Apparently, Spider is meant to be about 14 or 15 years old. He looks strangely older than that, yet spends half the time acting way, way younger than that. It's really odd. But that's not as odd as finding out that Quaritch is his dad, in what must give all lunatics hope, and had completely no setup in the original film.
But out here, they just hired guns, taking the money, working for the company.
I was first recon myself. A few years ahead of you, well, maybe more than a few.
Only a few were chosen to stay.
This crazy bastard had a wife who had given birth just weeks before her husband went on his slaughtering rampage. A wife who, when finding out that she was single again, apparently decided to not wait until her newborn son was old enough to leave the planet.
Can't put babies in cryo, dipshit.
She decided to just leave without him so he could be raised by strangers, like a monkey. Somewhere in this scene, a baby's being left in a bin. Spider probably has the worst two parents in film history, but the backstory of the mum leaving is never explained because we have to get to Quaritch being back. Instead of leading the Avatar story into a new direction, James Cameron decided to bring back the one-dimensional cartoon character bad guy from the first film. His return was the moment I realised that we were just in for more of the same. Which was sad for me because that happened in the first 10 minutes of the film. Oh no, not that guy again. Quaritch is also surprisingly good at learning how to do things. That took Jake the whole first film and lots of guidance to learn. Capture, connect with and fly the winged beast? Not a problem.
Yeah, that's right.
Quaritch is virtually this film's Ray.
I like this.
The speed at which they re-establish the same setup as the first film is staggering. The evil humans are back destroying everything, just like the first movie. But what we don't have from the first movie is all the world building and fresh ideas. Quick break to thank today's sponsor, Squarespace. Now, it's that time of year again when you start promising yourself that the new year is going to be amazing because you are finally going to get all those great ideas out to the world. The first thing you're going to need is a website, which can be expensive. Well, not if you use Squarespace. Don't throw away your money on hiring a website designer. That will have you waiting for months to get back something that's probably going to look completely boring. Join Squarespace and not only will you save money and have an amazing professionally designed website, you can have that website designed and out to the world today. And that's literally today. It really is that easy. Just sign up for a free trial, choose one of their professionally designed templates, make it your own with photo galleries, portfolios and video backgrounds, and you're all set to go. They can even help you grow your social media presence so you'll be looking successful from the very beginning. You can even have a members area where you can monetize your content right on your own website. So that's money straight in your pocket. Your idea needs a home, and with Squarespace you can have a killer professionally designed website that you can easily manage and edit yourself. And you'll save a fortune. Go to squarespace.com/robothead and try Squarespace for free. And then when you are ready to blast off, use the code ROBOTHEAD and you'll get another 10% off your first purchase. See the link below. Get moving on those dreams. Go to Squarespace today. Cameron also decided to remove the most interesting part of the first movie. In that movie, the connection between the living human body and the avatar created the only real tension or excitement in the first film. The fact that they could just switch off Jake's avatar at any time was the most interesting part.
I was sent here to...
Likewise, trying to find his body to kill. Kiri not being saved by the Na'vi was important, and Jake moving to his avatar permanently was the climax of the fucking movie. But within the first 10 minutes of this movie, James Cameron decides to do a Disney Star Wars and destroy his own story by throwing the most interesting and important bit of the first film out the window.
And the concept is that every driver is matched to his own avatar, so that their nervous systems are in tune.
Quaritch is back because humans can now store their mind, personalities and memories on a hard drive, which can then be uploaded to an avatar permanently. And they've had this technology since before the first film because that's when they backed up Quaritch before he died.
See this? This is all your memories and your personality. We're to send us back to Earth where you're growing in a lab as we speak.
Crippled Jake is only in the story because his brother died before he could join up with his avatar.
Which is why they offered me the gig, because I can link with Tommy's avatar.
Why didn't the army just use Jake's brother's hard drive backup personality instead of sending the crippled guy who fucked everything up?
Where you're growing in a lab as we speak.
If you have this technology, why send any human soldiers at all?
Look at all this fresh meat.
Just grow clone bodies, load up their skills and memories from the human soldiers, and send them out to conquer other worlds, while the human soldier stays home training and learning more skills for his next mind-to-clone download. You wouldn't even need multiple soldiers. Just get your most experienced soldier and download his skill set to multiple clones. You could have a clone army. Where have we seen that before?
See this? This is all your memories and your personality.
The throwaway line about the human backup is lazy writing, brought in as a quick shortcut to bring back a boring, predictable villain. One we already enjoyed seeing getting killed. It breaks the whole stupid story.
And the concept is that every driver is matched to his own avatar.
Writing good sci-fi is hard. Luckily, James Cameron has a comfy home at Disney, where the skill of good writing is not a requirement.
Why so blue?
We also get a whole subplot showing how bad the humans' Tulkun hunting industry is. A hunting industry that, for how long the humans have been back on the planet, and for how many of them there are, doesn't make any sense. Who was their market? Who are they selling the meat to? Anyhow, we find out they are really hunting the Tulkun because their brain juice gives humans the small gift of immortality. How they worked all this out in such a short time is never explained, because we only have 3 hours and 12 minutes to explain that family's important.
There's one scene, and I can't tell you what it is. Every time I see it, I cry. Every time. And for the rest of my life, every time I see it, I will cry.
Anyway, the immortality-giving brain juice is worth a fortune, and it would have to be worth a fortune, because you have to spend 5 years flying to another planet and billions of dollars to get it. But the trouble is, it wouldn't be worth anything, because back home on Earth, humans have already conquered immortality. If they can grow you an alien body and download your whole personality, then they could just as easily grow you a new human body and download your personality and memories to that. It would be a hell of a lot cheaper, and you would get a new body every few years. Sounds a lot better than the Tulkun brain juice keeping you alive in a decaying sack of skin that's falling to bits. Now you're living forever if you just look like an old man's stretched scrotum that's been exposed to the sun too long. Get decapitated in a car accident or crushed in an industrial accident, and the Tulkun brain juice is going to be useless. Lose your head with the human-invented personality backup system in place, and you wake up 2 weeks later in a new body. The choice between the Tulkun brain juice and the personal hard drive backup system wouldn't be like Coke versus Pepsi. It would be VHS versus Beta, and the brain juice is Beta. And just like in reality, VHS won over Beta because the adult entertainment industry went with VHS. The adult entertainment industry would again be the deciders on how we live forever, because very few are going to choose saggy scrotum body adult entertainment over downloaded memories, fresh new body adult entertainment. So in short, Crazy Ass here coming back and the brain juice immortality story don't make sense in the same universe.
One day we will digitize the entire human brain. And what are we going to do with it? I think we're going to shoot it into outer space. This laser beam with your consciousness on it downloads it and puts it into an avatar that looks just like you and immortal.
You know, as the story in the first movie was just lifted from Dances with Wolves, I was expecting Cameron maybe lift more of that story for the second installment. I thought we may have seen some conflict between tribes, which could have been interesting, but no. Dances with Wolves was made at a time when good storytelling outweighed one-dimensional virtue signalling. While the tribe that the stashed Kevin Costner joined was peaceful and caring, there were other tribes shown to be savage and murderous. In other words, the locals weren't all perfect one-dimensional characters. We have already seen the story with the disgusting greedy humans against the perfect one with nature aliens.
Get here, baby, get some!
We have already seen Jack Scully be a fish out of water, no pun intended, trying to learn new ways.
You should go away. Nah, you'd miss me.
Bloody hell, James Cameron had 13 years to come up with a new story. Thought we might have got a film showing that all was not perfect on Love Fest Pandora. But no, we just get horrible humans again, fighting the perfect natives. It actually feels like James Cameron just said, gee, I like water. I'll make an Avatar again, but with water and less story. We even get to see Jack learn to ride a beast again. Why he swaps his flying creature for one waterbound is left a mystery. In fact, the whole story of Jake taming the huge orange dragon is completely ignored. Just like how they also ignore the fact that the Na'vi defeated a much bigger and well-equipped military force in the first movie. This time they literally end up fighting one fishing boat that's got a handful of soldiers and some fishermen.
Somebody shoot something!
It really is a sad downgrade. How did they ever take out a whole army? Not to mention that Jake's new pals all just disappear out of the fight with no explanation.
I'll be nice once, then I won't.
Now, I haven't mentioned how Jake and his missus just abandoned their old tribe.
You're told of my dog!
The old tribe that defeated a whole human army and threatened them not to come back. Yes, they just abandoned their tribe to spread the death and destruction further to other innocent tribes without a care. I also haven't mentioned Sigourney Weaver's miracle dead body birth baby, or the on-the-nose fairy wing living scuba tanks, or that the whale creatures can talk and apparently compose music. I don't want to wreck all the wonderful surprises, but I will say that the end turns into James Cameron's greatest hits, where we get Avatar 1, T2 and the Titanic all at once.
I need you.
So for how stupid this film is and how lazy the story is, I'd still recommend going to the cinema to see it. James Cameron may be crazy, but again he has pushed visual effects to a new level. It's a technical visual feast. So if that's your bag, get your ass down to a 3D screening. But it must be 3D. We've been through this. Just leave your brain at the cinema door.
And for the rest of my life, every time I see it, I will cry.